day. I don't think anybody's here yet, so I'm going to continue clearing my floor. It's a beautiful, rainy, gray afternoon in Seattle. I say that facetiously. I hate this weather. And, oh, 2 people are already here. Well, then I will just start talking. I always start with the weather because, as I always say, everybody's got weather. And this time of year may not be loving it. So Happy New Year. Can you believe that we're already like a week in? So I got a pattern back from my tech editor that's ready to move on to the final step. I don't know about you, really enjoyed having a bit of a break from my routine, and I am ready to continue asking questions about knitting and sizing and how to live your best life. I actually have notes today because I really wanted to talk about body awareness. And I started thinking about it because I posted, you may have seen the picture of me in my red dress with the sparkle neckline. Said in my post that I wasn't sure that the dress was appropriate any longer. It seemed like it needed a younger figure. And I actually am still questioning whether it's still appropriate for me. But I got a response from a colleague who said, don't body shame yourself. And so, okay, a couple of things. It's a gorgeous dress. It's the most expensive thing I've ever purchased. I'm actually quite cheap. And I've had other lovely things, but I always made them myself. So it was the only kind of sparkly thing that I've ever bought for myself. And it still fits me. I am basically the same as I have been for, most of my adult life. But I wasn't sure I was really pulling it off. And the other thing I want to say is that I am not ashamed of my body, but I'm 69. My skin suit is getting a little loose. And plus that, I eat things that are high in fat. So I'm soft in places I haven't been soft in before. So it doesn't matter whether you think being soft is good or bad. I want my body the way I like it within the framework of it's the body I got. So I replied just very pleasantly that I wasn't shaming, that I was just being real, which is really, I have always had to assess what I can wear. Sometimes it's just what I'm comfortable wearing. I have a whole list of things that I don't wear. It's not like an actual written list, but if I go into a store, I'm like, I don't wear black, I don't wear ruffles, I don't wear V-necks, I just have all these, I don't wear things that are tight. So these are just my personal preferences. It's not that I am ashamed of my body or that I am not aware that I am quite lucky to be height-weight proportionate at my age. I am lucky and I work really hard at it. So here are a couple of other things. So I love clothes. I love how clothes make me feel. I don't like clothes that don't make me feel great, and I tend to just move them on. And I have never wanted to wear things that were not appropriate to who I am in any given moment. So I recalled an article I read apparently on the 27th of September in 2023, because I have the link here. It was an interview with Corinne Reutefeldt, who is the former editor of French Vogue. She is uber fashionable, has always been uber fashionable, and is one of those kind of razor thin fashion ladies. And she retired from French Vogue. She may have been ousted about 10 years ago, maybe 15, and has done lots of other things. And her finger is in a lot of fashion pies. So this article with her was about, she's 69, and this is what I clipped out of the article. But I have been making some life changes. I do sports and I have good DNA, and I'm lucky my body hasn't changed that much. But my skirts are now knee length, no matter what the trends are. And I feel very much the same. That it's not that I can't wear it, it's that I don't think I should always wear things that I was perfectly comfortable when I was younger. My next note says, I have studied bodies for as long as I can remember. The one I know best is my own because it's handy. And I can tell you everything about my figure, about changes that have happened over the years, about what I like about it, what I don't like about it. But these are the things. I've had the same frame. I've been this tall and almost this weight since the 8th grade. I think in the 8th grade I probably weighed about 120 and I now weigh 140. I was very rangy when I was younger. I've never had a perfect figure. My legs are super long. My torso is super short. I have virtually no space between my rib cage and my hip bones, so I have very little waistline, and I weigh what I weigh because I work at it. I love to eat. I love to eat fattening things. I like to drink. So I really have to work to stay at this age. Or at this age, I don't have to work out at all. It just keeps coming to stay at the weight that I am. But I'm never happy when I get heavier. So I've tried it, didn't like it. So I weigh the same now that I did 15 years ago. It was so much easier then, and I could eat so much more. In the last 10 years, my bust line has fallen like an inch and a half. There is not a bra that can pull it up after your skin suit starts falling. It would hurt your shoulders so bad. So the other thing is that I don't move the same way anymore because my joints aren't as flexible. There's just nothing is as flexible as it used to be. And, getting out of a chair is not the same experience it was when I was younger. I'm grateful that I am still getting out of chairs. So I already talked about my list of fashion notes, and that they really reflect my personality as much as my body. I have a really big rib cage, so I don't wear things that are tight because it's just not very attractive. I don't wear V-necks because they don't flatter my face. Ruffles look stupid on me. I would say that I am vain to a certain extent, but I walk away from the mirror in the morning and I never look again, and sometimes I'm surprised I don't look as good as I thought I did. So it takes a lot of work to get to body acceptance, and I'm using that term instead of body positivity because I think they're kind of two different things. And Jamie and I were talking about it the other day, and she was like, why isn't it okay to just not like things about yourself? I don't like my mouth. Pains me to watch myself sometimes on camera, and I think I have lovely eyes. My eyebrows are weird. I don't have a great chin. I have to put color under here to give myself a better chin, and those are the kind of things I can't change. The fact that I have, I'll just show you, all the fat in my upper bodies, I swear to God, is in my elbows these days. And do I still wear sleeveless shirts? Sure. When I go out, I tend to wear a shawl or something to cover my arms because the skin on the inside of my arms is just hideous. I can't do anything about it. So I have to just accept it and say, how much am I willing to expose myself? When I was in Morocco for my 65th birthday, I wore a cotton voile scarf, very large, tied around my shoulders, and then I tied it behind my back so it looked like a little jacket. And that was how I solved keeping my arms covered, because their culture doesn't really love women having it all hanging out while still being comfortable. So I don't think anyone else has to have the same relationship with their body that I have with mine. You don't have to be thin. You don't have to be physically fit. I totally just don't give a crap if you're fat or not. It's not my deal. All I care about is me, and then I care about how can I make other people feel better in how they look. And so that's one of the things I love about clothing, is that you can put on something and feel fabulous. You know, you go out in the world, and if you feel good, people respond to you differently. People comment on my hair all the time, and it's really nice. It sometimes gives people who might not otherwise speak to me something to say. I had a, checker at Bartell's yesterday go on and on about my hair, and he wanted to see all the colors, and so it's something that I love. I decided that I was always going to be a redhead, and then I found this yellow, which I love. So I've been a redhead since I was 25. It would be so much cheaper, less time consuming to go gray, but I really kind of like this, and so I keep doing it. But I do encourage people to take stock of what you really are and what you are comfortable with and what makes you feel good. So, if you don't feel great about how you look, what could you do to help yourself be more positive about it? Because it's really kind of a reflection of how you feel. And, you don't have to wear fancy clothes. I'm standing here in, jeans and a t-shirt that I bought because it was on sale and I love the color. That's too big for me. And so I just put on one of my beautiful little shawls because it can change anything. I've got the perfect glasses, which go with my hair. I put on this bracelet, which, swear to God, this is a funny story. So my dad's dad was kind of not really into being a grandfather. He was mostly into himself. And so he would come and visit occasionally, and my grandmother died. He married another woman who turned out to be too bossy for him, and then he married his third wife, who was not a woman that we all loved, but she loved him. And so they used to go to Spain in the winter and this is I was 15 when he gave me the bracelet, so it was in the 60s, and they went to Spain because it was cheap, and they would spend the winter in Torremolinos, and this is apparently the jewelry that they make there. And so he and Blanche were visiting at my birthday, and my mother must have said, Van, it's Jill's birthday. And I'm pretty sure they bought this bracelet, and there were these big earrings that went with it for Blanche's daughter, who was my mom's age. And I think that the jewelry was hustled out and given to me for my 15th birthday. Well, it was not exactly my style and be anything that I wanted. But be that as it may, I kept the jewelry, and I did wear the earrings for a while, and then I quit wearing earrings, so I don't know where they are now. And the bracelet always felt like kind of over the top to me. I'm not really a gold person. And so as I have decided to just wear all my jewelry all the time, I always wear this bracelet because I feel like it goes really well with the color in this t-shirt. And I have a few other things that are kind of those colors that I wear the bracelet with. So really for me, it's like finding things that make me feel really great. And, how much time do I spend thinking about my skin sack? Not much. I am aware of it. Have always wished that I had a slightly different figure. Don't ask me why, because my figure looks great in clothes. But, I always wanted that kind of more long hip, which I don't have because my rib cage is sitting on top of my hip bones. So find something that you love and focus on it. And when you knit things, think about how you're going to feel wearing it. And does it really make you feel the way you want to feel? So I don't know whether anybody is better at this than I am, but I would love to hear anything that anybody wants to ask me about body acceptance, sizing, fit, any of that stuff, which I'm super passionate about, but I have no idea how I get a response from you. Can you type things into so yeah, I have no idea. So apparently you can type in, you can send me questions. What's that? I have no requests, okay. So if anybody has a question and would like me to, what's that? Oh, that's just two people who are watching, that I would love to talk about. But I guess my point, it always takes me forever to get to my point, is whatever makes you feel good is what you should wear. And when something doesn't make you feel good, then don't wear it. So I have a plan for the sparkly dress. I actually was perfectly comfortable wearing it on New Year's Eve at home, eating my leftovers. I might wear it out, not sure, but I think over the summer I'm going to cut it into a top and make it kind of have a shaped front and a little bit shorter in the back. I still have a great looking butt and tend to wear slacks a lot. So I have this really cool pair of wool and lurex gray sparkly slacks. So I think they would look fabulous with that. And then I have a couple of dressy pairs of black pants. I look terrible in skirts, I think, because I have no waistline. So I tend to wear pants, which flatter my legs. Plus that everything has to be knee length now. So that's what I'm going to do, because I think it would be a really great top. I think I'd get a lot of wear out of it. I would wear it out to restaurants and that sort of thing. So that's where I'm at. I thought I'd show you a little bit of my holiday knitting. I was kind of in I don't know, it seemed like every row round just took forever, but I think I kind of invented this stitch. I'm sure it exists someplace, but so it's a slip stitch, which is cool. It's 2 colors, or this I did it 3 colors, and the 4th color, the main color. But on the inside does horizontal stripes. I thought that was kind of cool. So I'm making, it's a cowl, and let's see. So it's, it's going to curl over. And so I was thinking I might make a tie so I could kind of arrange it and tie it, and you could get the 2 sides, which I think is very cool. And so I'm kind of in this 2 yarn thing, and then this was using that cashmere yarn that I've shown around. So this is a horizontal rib, so I just did like 4 rows in reverse stockinette, 4 rows in stockinette, back and forth, back and forth. So here the neckline, it's narrow, and then I did short rows up to the neckline point. I've not worked in my hands, so I've always got flying ends. And I was kind of thinking of a little embellishment today, so that may happen. But, and you could just wear it down like that. And this hasn't been blocked, so what I like is when you can see both sides. And so you get this feeling of really different texture and fabric, but they're the same thing. And having something narrow in the center means it's not as bulky around your neck, and so as somebody who has hot flashes, that's often a concern with me. This is lovely and soft. It's mostly cashmere, and the lighter yarn has some silk in it. So yeah, you would think that a week of knitting I would have gotten a lot more done, but some days I just ripped and reknit. And so I have worked out an ear flap for Vero, but I think it's a little wide still. I'm not really a hat wearer, so this was my prototype, and I kind of like the shape a little better. This one got a little round, but I think again it still needs to be a little narrower, but it uses that cool scallop that I've been working on. So that's really all I've got today, unless somebody wants to ask a question. So I'm not going to keep anyone, having exhausted my point. So this will be my, I can always pull something out. Final comment, body awareness. And that is, we each deserve to occupy the body that we want. So I explained earlier how I, do Pilates, I control what I eat in order to stay the same weight that I've been. I can't do anything about sagging skin, but I can keep myself fit and healthy. And I'm very aware at this point of how dependent you become on your body. So for me, it's aging. I know for a lot of people, it might be chronic illness or things like that. So then you really have to work at supporting you. But as you work at accepting your own self, your own body, also please consider being more accepting of other people. And that was a tough one for me to learn how to do, because I would think, well, I can stay thin, how can other people? And it really took a lot of learning on my part to realize that, everybody just is where they are because of things that I don't know about. They don't owe me anything. So give yourself acceptance, but also feel like you have the right to present your body as you want to, and then also give that to other people and have fun knitting. I plan to go down fairly shortly and get my dinner ready so I can get to my knitting and my cocktail. I have a swatch I'm working on, so I can probably get through that for a while. And then I've got a sweater that I'm remodeling the neckline. I think I talked about that already. And I've been taking it really slow so I can really consider what I want to do. And I've come up with a great neckline that's really different than what I had originally intended to do, but I think really flatters the sweater, so I can do a little stitching on that. I saw this really cool thing on Facebook. So a woman takes acrylic paint and clothing stencils on the clothing to cover up spots, which I thought was brilliant because I'm always spilling stuff on my front. Everything I own has grease spots on it. And I really liked it, but then I thought, yeah, that's not anything I would ever wear, but what a great solution. I'm always telling myself I'm going to embroider over my grease spots, but so far I haven't actually ever done that. But I might paint, not stencil, and maybe not acrylic paints. Anyhow, I've always got something new that I'm thinking about. And today I spent some time putting together a very short class for something that's coming up, and how you can add bust darts into a garment. And so I will let you know when it'll be in mid-February that it's available, but I will let you know when you can sign up for that class if you want. I've got great handouts. And then I will probably do a class following that where you can sign up to actually get tutorials on how to do it. This session is short, and so it's mostly theoretical and explaining how darts function in a garment that you're knitting, because when you're knitting, you're creating the fabric as you go, where when you're sewing, you have to mold the fabric to the shape that you want. So bust darts in knitting are doing exactly the same thing, but they function a little differently, and it's sometimes kind of hard to get your head around that. And I finished a pattern. I'm actually feeling pretty good about what I've gotten done so far this year. So I think I'll say bye-bye, because I've talked for almost a half an hour again, and no one has any questions. I've got exciting things coming up on my site, my pattern Taylor, and we're going to go into testing mid-January. If you ever want to just shoot me a message, if you want to talk about anything like this or ask me questions, I am a font of knowledge. Or say you'd really like me to talk about something, I'd love to do that. Yeah, I love the idea of, came up with this yesterday, of having a skin suit, and it's like your leggings when the spandex starts to relax. That's what my skin is like right now. And yeah, there's no going back. So, this is funny. One time I was in a Pilates class, and everybody in this class was super body conscious, and the class was quite difficult. And one of the women said, "Oh, I just wish I had a six-pack for all this work." And the instructor said, "Oh, you've got a six-pack. You just can't see it under the fat on your stomach." And I was like, yeah, well, so that's what I tell myself. I got a six-pack. It's just that no one can see it. Bye. Have a good weekend.